Mario Balotelli is one of the most enigmatic and controversial footballers of his generation. His journey through the world of football has been anything but conventional. A tale of extraordinary talent, missed opportunities, and headline-grabbing scandals. For years, fans and pundits alike have wondered what could have been if Balotelli had focused on his immense potential rather than the chaos that often surrounded him. From his early promise as a prodigious talent in Italy to his explosive performances at Manchester City and beyond, Balotelli's career is a fascinating story of what happens when raw talent meets relentless controversy. This is the story of Mario Balotelli, the star who could have been one of the greatest, but was often buried in scandal. Early life and rise to stardom. Mario Balotelli was born in Palermo, Italy in 1990 to Ghanaian immigrant parents. His early life was marked by hardship as his biological parents faced financial difficulties. Balotelli was placed into foster care at a young age, and it was there that he was adopted by the Balotelli family in Brescia. His adoptive parents, Silvia and Francesco Balotelli, gave him a stable home, and it was through their support that Mario began to show his talent for football. From an early age, Balotelli's potential was clear. His raw talent on the field was undeniable, and it didn't take long for scouts to take notice. He joined the youth academy at Lumezan, where his talent was nurtured, and it was only a matter of time before bigger clubs started circling. At the age of 15, Balotelli signed with the prestigious Inter Milan academy, a stepping stone that would launch him into the upper echelons of Italian football. Balotelli made his professional debut for Inter Milan in 2007, and it didn't take long for the world to take notice of his skill, power, and agility. He was a natural goal scorer, and his ability to change the course of a match with a single moment of brilliance made him a fan favorite. His time at Inter Milan was marked by great success as he won multiple Serie A titles and helped the team secure the prestigious Champions League trophy in 2010 under the guidance of Jose Mourinho. But even in these early days, Balotelli's controversial nature began to emerge. His fiery temper, clashes with teammates, and tendency to act out on the field were signals of the chaos that would follow him throughout his career. The move to Manchester City and the explosion of potential. In 2010, after a successful stint at Inter Milan, Balotelli made a high-profile move to the Premier League, joining Manchester City for a reported £24 million, a fee that reflected his potential but also put immense pressure on him to deliver. Under manager Roberto Mancini, a man who had worked with Balotelli at Inter Milan, the stage was set for Balotelli to become one of the brightest stars in English football. At Manchester City, Balotelli had some memorable moments that displayed just how much raw talent he had. He scored sensational goals, delivered match-winning performances, and showed that, at his best, he could be one of the most dangerous forwards in the world. His performances in the 2011-12 Premier League season, including his famous "Why Always Me" goal celebration, proved that Balotelli was capable of being the difference maker for City as they won the league title for the first time in 44 years. However, for all his moments of brilliance, Balotelli's time at Manchester City was marred by repeated off-field issues. His infamous incidents included clashes with teammates, training ground bust-ups, and run-ins with the media. One of the most well-known controversies occurred when Balotelli set fire to his own house after fireworks were let off in his bathroom, resulting in significant damage to the property. He was also involved in a number of on-pitch altercations, including a red card for a dangerous tackle and a lack of discipline in high-stakes matches. While his undeniable talent was on display, his inability to stay out of trouble and his reputation for unpredictability began to overshadow his footballing ability. For all the excitement he brought to the pitch, Balotelli's time at Manchester City came to an abrupt end in 2013 when he was sold to AC Milan for a reported £19 million. The AC Milan years, a glimpse of redemption. Balotelli's return to Italy with AC Milan was seen as an opportunity for the striker to regain his form and rebuild his reputation. His spell at Milan started brightly as he scored goals and showed flashes of the talent that had once made him one of Europe's most sought-after young players. He became a key figure for the club and even earned a recall to the Italian national team for the 2014 World Cup, where he scored a memorable goal against England. However, as was often the case with Balotelli, his progress was hindered by his off-field behavior. While he showed moments of brilliance, he also displayed the same petulance, lack of discipline, and inconsistency that had plagued his career up to that point. Reports of training ground bust-ups and disagreements with coaches were frequent, and the Italian media was quick to label him as a player whose attitude was as much a problem as his talent. His time at Milan was cut short in 2014, and Balotelli was loaned to Liverpool in another attempt to resurrect his career in the Premier League. The Liverpool experiment, a failure of expectations. Balotelli's move to Liverpool in 2014 was a high-risk gamble. The club, fresh off a title challenge in the 2013-14 Premier League season, were hoping that Balotelli would fill the gap left by the departure of Luis Suarez. Unfortunately, it was a move that never quite paid off. Under manager Brendan Rodgers, Balotelli struggled to live up to expectations. His time at Liverpool was marked by poor performances, lackluster work rate, and his failure to adapt to the team's high-pressing style of play. While he showed brief glimpses of his ability, the consistency and commitment needed for a top-tier Premier League striker were missing. Off the pitch, Balotelli's attitude remained a problem. He was often criticized for his lack of professionalism, and his inability to blend into the team dynamic meant that his stay at Liverpool was short-lived. After just one season, Balotelli was sent back to Milan, marking yet another failed chapter in his career. The decline, a talented player lost to chaos. As Balotelli's career continued, it became evident that his talent was no longer enough to justify his place at the top level. His time at Liverpool was followed by stints at various clubs, including Nice in France, Marseille, and his brief return to Serie A with Brescia. While he showed flashes of the brilliance that had once made him a star, the chaotic behavior that had marked his earlier years continued to haunt him. At Nice, Balotelli found a sense of stability and enjoyed a period of solid performances. He scored goals, gained some respect back, and even looked to be on the path toward redemption. But as always, the drama wasn't far behind. His relationship with the club soured, and he was eventually let go. In his later years, Balotelli's career became increasingly erratic. Despite still possessing the ability to turn heads with his skill and talent, he was never able to fully settle anywhere. His inconsistency, lack of discipline, and trouble with authority meant that many clubs were hesitant to take a chance on him. The legacy of what could have been today, Mario Balotelli's career stands as one of the most poignant what could have been stories in football. His talent was undeniable, raw, powerful, and exciting. With the technical ability to match the best in the world, his skill set had the potential to revolutionize any team he played for. His speed, agility, and lethal finishing made him a nightmare for defenders, while his flair and unpredictability brought excitement to the game. Yet for all the natural gifts he had, Balotelli's career never fully reached the heights many predicted for him. His story is a tragic mix of missed opportunities, inconsistency, and, most prominently, a series of off-field controversies that overshadowed his undeniable talent. Balotelli's career serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting discipline and professionalism in a sport that demands both. His immense potential was stifled by the distractions that followed him wherever he went, from training ground bust-ups to media storms. His lack of focus and often erratic behavior prevented him from sustaining the success his talent deserved. While his moments of brilliance remain etched in footballing history, the chaos that constantly surrounded him often took precedence. If Balotelli had been able to channel his energy into refining his craft and maintaining his professionalism, there's little doubt he could have reached the very top of the sport. Instead, he remains a figure defined by what he could have been, a once promising star whose brilliance was overshadowed by his chaotic persona. Mario Balotelli's rise and fall are a reminder that football is not just about talent. It's about dedication, focus, and the ability to overcome personal challenges. Balotelli's journey could have been one of the great success stories in football. Instead, it's a story of a star buried in scandal, a prodigious talent who, for all his brilliance, could never quite escape the chaos that followed him. The question remains, what could have been if Mario Balotelli had truly fulfilled his potential? Unfortunately, we'll never know. But his career will always serve as a reminder of the fine line between brilliance and self-destruction. Do you think Balotelli's talent was truly wasted? Could he have been one of the greatest? Or was his chaotic nature always going to be his downfall? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth stories about football's most intriguing players.